Hi, my name is Angela Woods, and I'm here to speak to you today about domestic abuse. Domestic abuse affects many households. Oftentimes, domestic abuse goes unreported or undetected, and we should keep in mind that domestic abuse not only affects the individual that may be abused, it can affect everyone in the household. Domestic abuse, oftentimes, um, we don't recognize the signs of what is going on. Not only does the individual that may be abused not be able to recognize the signs, but the family or friends may not readily recognize the signs because they don't see any visible symptoms. We have to start by being able to define domestic abuse, and then we will be able to determine the different types. Domestic abuse is defined as any pattern of behaviors that allows one to maintain power or control over their intimate partner. Whatever they can do to keep you under control, to make you do whatever they want to, and it's against your will, is considered abuse. One of the forms of abuse is physical abuse. Any kicking, biting, slapping, pinching, choking, any of that type of stuff is physical abuse. Um, Damaging the property within the home because you did or didn't do something they wanted you to do is physical abuse. Doing harm to the children is physical abuse. Anything that they can do to manipulate you or someone close to you or something of value to you to get you to do what they want to is a form of physical abuse. Another sign of abuse is emotional abuse. Insulting you, criticizing you, calling you names, uh, that's emotional abuse. Isolating you from your family so that you don't have a support system to possibly help you get out of a situation like this is emotional abuse. Uh, Monitoring your every move and accusing you of cheating on them every single day, all the time, that's a form of emotional abuse. Another form of abuse is sexual abuse or sexual coercion. Forcing you to perform sexual acts that are against your will, that's sexual abuse. Forcing you to invite others into your bedroom against your will to perform acts that you don't want to be a part of. That's sexual abuse. Exposing you to STDs or giving you drugs or alcohol to get you to perform any type of sexual acts they want you. All of that is a part of sexual abuse. Another form of abuse will be um, reproductive coercion. Reproductive coercion is forcing you to use birth control or not to use birth control uh, because they do or don't want you to use it. Removing birth control during the sexual act, lying to you about the method of birth control that they are using, forcing you to become pregnant or to have an abortion against your will is reproductive coercion. Financial abuse is another form of abuse. If you get out and go to a job every day and work, whatever paycheck you earned is yours to spend as you like. But if when you get home, someone is waiting on you there with their hand out and they take all your money and issue you what little bit they want you to have when they want you to have it, that's financial abuse. Them refusing to get a job, they're just going to sit there and wait till you bring your paycheck home. It's physical abuse. Not giving you access to your own money, that's financial abuse. Using up all the money in the household so that you don't have any for the necessities for the household, or stealing money from your purse or from on your person, that is financial abuse. And the last form of abuse that I have listed, but clearly not the only form of abuse that one may experience, is digital abuse. Digital abuse will be using social media, cell phone, uh, email, text messages, any of that type of stuff to be derogatory or negative towards you. Forbidding you to have access to social media, or if you have access to social media, for them to want to have the passwords and access to it all the time. Being insulting you through email, text messages, on their social media sites with posts or tweets, or you however they update their statuses, all of that is digital abuse. So now that we've clearly defined what some of the forms of abuse are, we need to know what to do about them. If you have suspicions that a friend or relative or individual that you have encountered is experiencing some type of abuse, then you need to figure out what you need to do about it. And there are some steps you can take to offer help to them. First of all, you need to take a look at the type of relationship that you have with the individual. If you're close enough to the individual, you can sit down and talk to them and explain to them what your suspicions are. If not, find a friend or relative of theirs that would be close enough to them to go and sit down and have a conversation like this with them. And once they do, sit down with the individual and express to them what your suspicions or concerns are uh, as to what the abuse may be. When you sit down and talk to them, you have to be able to not only talk to them about it, but you have to be willing to listen to what they say. Be encouraging for what they say, because the last thing you want them to do is shut down and not feel comfortable enough to open up to you. But listen to what they say. Once you talk with them about it and everything is out in the open and they're comfortable with you, offer your help. Come up with a safety plan for the individual. Uh, Discuss what the resources are in the area that you're in, and know what they are. Know what they are and make the individual aware of what the resources are. Know the laws in your area and make sure that they clearly understand what is there in place to protect them already. And once you have discussed all of these things, then you should be willing to help them. If you come up with a safety plan and they need help to get to a shelter, they need help to call the police, they need help to do anything to help them get out of a dangerous situation, be willing to give them a helping hand so that they don't feel isolated, they don't feel beat down, because that's exactly what the abuser would want them to think, that they don't have anybody but them, and that they have to stay in a bad situation. I can speak firsthand on domestic abuse because I was a victim of domestic abuse myself. And it wasn't that I was in denial or didn't recognize the signs of what was going on, because I clearly did understand what was going on. I knew the signs. I wanted out of the situation, but I thought that I had time. And I was awakened at 6:30 one morning on September the 22nd, 2012, um, to a severe beating, 23 stab wounds, and when I made it to the hospital, I was within an inch of my life. Thinking that I had time to get out of a situation, not being able to reach out to anybody and let them know what was going on in the household and that I needed help. So, and my family didn't recognize that something was wrong. So we clearly have to understand what abuse is, recognize the signs, and be willing to help each other. Domestic abuse is growing in epidemic proportions all over the world. It affects any race, male, female, children, any social class, any economic level. It does not discriminate against anyone. Anyone is capable, susceptible of being a victim of domestic abuse, and it's up to us. It is up to society to be willing to help any individual to get out of it. It is up to us to have resources in place to help people to get out of bad situations. Um, in order to stamp out the domestic violence and make people feel comfortable, we have to recognize and act. Recognize and act. Know the symptoms and help each other. Thank you.